try. It is all happening. They've gone to the stage they wanted to go.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to an episode of Connect from School Sports Live. I'm sitting here today with Grant Mackenzie, the head of water polo at St Andrews College, and Jared Wingate-Pearse, a former Springbok water polo player and head coach of Rondebosch. So today we're going to sit down and discuss the recent St Andrews tournament that's just taken place in Grahamstown. Grant, how was the tournament and how were the challenges and positives of the weekend?
Andrew, thanks. Glad to be able to have this opportunity to do this. The tournament was a good success. A lot of challenges getting off the ground. Not a fan of paperwork and all that. It was worth every effort to get it going. Obviously, not having any school sports allowed, we registered all our team clubs through Swim South Africa and put everything into planning. Pretty much I started early January, actually, when all schools were cancelling their tournaments. I decided to postpone mine, and I'm glad that I did, and it gave the boys something to train and play for at the end of the season.
Jared, obviously Rondebosch's first time at the tournament. Two questions. What was the level of water polo like as compared to considering the year break we've had? And also, were there any players that caught your eye at the tournament?
So yeah, thanks, Andrew. It's good to be here. It's a difficult one. I mean, you got guys coming out of a whole season of training, and I mean, some schools weren't even training. So Rondebosch lucky enough to have a nice little club structure. So the boys were training from early Jan, but they weren't really training for anything. So when the news of the St Andrews tournament came along, the smiles in the boys' eyes were very evident. So they at least got to train for something, But going from not playing any school matches straight into a tournament where you're playing 3 or 2 games a day, you can really see on day 3 and day 4, you start seeing the fatigue set in, and just your level was good, but it's not as quick as it probably would normally be after playing 3, 4, 5 weekends of school fixtures going into a tournament. So Grant, I don't know if you want to agree with me there, but I just thought it wasn't as quick as it could have been.
Yeah, 100%. I don't think a lot of sides had the opportunity to practice properly as a team because obviously a few club sides don't have facilities. Most facilities are revolved around schools and with people not allowing you to train and things like that. So I think it was quite difficult. It was a little bit slow. I thought the teams that came were the teams we happy that were there. And it's glad to have 1 or 2 new teams. Crusaders from Joburg, which is a St Stithians club. It's the first time they've been down in a long time, as well as the Rondebosch club. So very, very good to have new teams as well.
Jared, just switching back to you, which players stood out for you at the tournament?
Quite a few. I'd probably like to start with that Walrus side. I mean, that was the Westfield club. There was a player, Aaron Tarr. He was a lefty, and I mean they had a really, really good driver of the ball. His name was Blake Holmes, their number 10. You'll see him on the screen scoring a couple of goals, and he was really their main player. But without Michael Jordan had Pippen kind of thing. So I mean, you need somebody to give you the ball all the time. So and that guy for me was that player. He was very good with just his ball control, his passing. So I mean, he probably stood out for me. Was one of the better players of the tournament.
Yeah, I must say, I tend to agree with you. Blake Holmes, I've also coached him at a provincial level. He's, as you said, very quick on the counter. Very good mover in the water and scores a lot of goals from the centre forward position. So, and without Aaron and Scully feeding him, 100% agree. Grant, for you, anyone that stood out?
Yeah, I'd agree on those 3 from Team Walrus. I was very impressed. Blake Holmes' work ethic was excellent. He did get frustrated every now and again when things weren't going. So, but we are very happy with his overall thing. But from other sides, obviously playing Rondebosch in the final, I know a few of the boys, obviously having coached him in the past. I thought Daniel Kalal was a threat in the hole at all times, having to stop him. He is in cap number 4. And the problem with having a whole man like that, when you're starting to drop, you've got your outside shooters. And I thought Andy Buerta, number 11, playing on the left, and then you had EJ Duran playing on the right. So the 2 outside shooters made it quite difficult with the game plan if you want to drop on the hole as well. So that was pretty tough. And then in the small sides, I thought Pearson, Connor Ackerman was excellent. For a small kid of stature, his work ethic and the opportunities he creates for his team, I thought he had an excellent tournament. So from that side of it, that was good. And then from Crusaders, Luca Embriolo, he was marking the back, but yeah, his composure was phenomenal. I mean, he was calm, cool, collected, and then on attack, he just held that ball up, made the right decisions, and scored some excellent goals as well. And he had Reece Lomax, number 12, to play off, so in the hole. So he was able to when there was a drop on the hole, yet again, he had the outside shot, or he had that power in the front. So yeah, most of those guys were excellent.
Another player that we can talk about from Michaelos, also very surprising. Such a big guy that was actually so mobile was Graham Hull. You can't really say where he played because he was just absolutely everywhere. And I mean, he was the driving force behind that Michaelos team. Very big guy, but also incredibly mobile. Some nice counter-attack and shooting from the outside, but also an absolute menace in the hole. So, I mean, yeah, you have to mention a big guy like that.
Definitely agree with you. I think Connor Ackerman from Pearson, high work rate and technically a very good player. I was also very impressed with Reece Lomax. He's come a long way. He was drawing a big drop, and as you said, with Luca on the outside and a couple of top shooters, easy to put the ball away. Jared, anyone sticking out from a goalkeeper point of view? Who do you think the best goalkeeper was?
Yeah, well, I mean, first of all, we definitely like to say the St Andrews goalkeeper. I mean, I think he played really well. He had a really great tournament, and most importantly, he had a great final. But I mean, in speaking on St Andrews, I mean, we can't not mention outside players Matt Dovey and Cameron Rafferty. They were both instrumental in St Andrews, obviously taking home the gold there. But I thought the Rondebosch goalkeeper as well, David van Sale, I thought he had a great tournament. He really kept us in a lot of tight games there that we probably shouldn't have had, but he was really good there, and he's only 15 years old, so I mean he's got a really bright future ahead of him.
So let's move straight to the final, and Rondebosch obviously played St Andrews in the pool stages, and how often do we see it that Rondebosch beat St Andrews in the pool stages and they went and lost in the final? So what was the mentality of your Rondebosch guys, having known that already beaten St Andrews, going into a final?
Yeah, it's a good question. It's also like, a lot of the boys actually said to me it was their first final in their age group, so that was nice. But I mean, I really try to drum home to the guys that first match didn't really matter. It was a first game for our boys in a very long time at any kind of tournament, any kind of school fixture or club fixture, properly. So it was really feeling each other out in that first game. So I just try to drum home that the final is a whole nother kettle of fish. It's a fresh start for both sides, and we have to come out really wanting it because St Andrews losing that first game, they're essentially coming out as an underdog playing against Rondebosch, and I told my boys they're going to want it just as much as we are. So it was tough, but I mean, anything can happen in a final.
It's almost a better position to be in, coming in having lost previously, going to the final. Grant, going across to you, I was watching the final, and obviously that excitement in the last minute or so, but that must have really felt like Groundhog Day for you. Something similar happened to St Andrews last year, where the clock was back up and all scored. How did that feel? Do you think, no, not again?
No, coming to the final was quite exciting. It's coming against Rondebosch. There wasn't much in our pool game. I mean, 1 goal in it, so I think it was anyone's game coming to the final. that last minute. I think I'll learn from my lessons though. I've coached under 13 sides that wouldn't pass the ball back in the last minute. So I figured with 22 seconds, I better take my shoes off to stay dry, keep those dry, and quite rapidly put them back on. So that was a good lesson for me. As you can see, it was one of those things. But you know what? Credit to Rondebosch. I thought it was phenomenal with 2 seconds on the clock to score a goal. You know what? We always know there's a nice post Hail Mary shot pass. You got to take it. If someone touches the postman, you can get a penalty. So from Jared's side, the decision to do that was excellent, and added to some excitement to the spectators who were watching on School Sport Lives, as well as the ones that were peering over the fence. So what a way to finish. You couldn't ask for a better thing. And something that I told my boys afterwards, they were all like, "Oh, sir, made a mistake," whatever. And I said, "You know what? I can never, ever, ever teach you something like that in the pool in a practice game. You can only learn from a final like that." So for me, it was a great learning curve for everyone. You can't practice that mistake happening or anything. So what a way to finish.
Yeah, hindsight's always a beautiful thing as well, looking at it. But excellent goal from Rondebosch at the end. Jared, what is your message to your players when you guys went back into those last 2 seconds?
Well, I mean, as Grant said, you don't really train for stuff like that or practice stuff like that. I mean, to be fair to Grant, taking off his shoes, I mean, I thought it was pretty much done and dusted as well. When you lose the ball with 15 seconds or so on the clock, it's just hold it out, swim it up the pool kind of thing. So I was not really sure. I mean, when it happened, it was just kind of that thing where send the goalie up and just screaming, just throw something high towards the goals and let's see what happens. But it went very quickly, and I mean, in the St Andrews defense, it's as Grant said, it's hard to defend something that you've never experienced before. So it was a blur, but it was a nice end to a really nice game, and I'm super excited for the boys as well. And then going straight into the penalties, which were obviously disappointing, but it was an exciting end to a nice final.
Yeah, it was a great final. Always exciting to enter the penalty shootout. Looking forward now, what have we got lined up in the third and fourth term? I mean, Currie Cup's coming up now. I'm hoping for a Clifton tournament, maybe a St Stithians tournament. Do you guys think that's going to happen?
Yeah, I think so. I've received the Clifton information, what dates they're proposing with the new terms. Look, I don't think we can. I think we need to advance forward now. It's time. Unless something drastic happens, I think we've done well as a whole, as from a country point of view, in terms of managing where we are now. But just looking at the effects of not being able to play sport, and a lot of the boys, I think it's quite negative. So I think playing sport is important, and maybe no spectators still and things like that. Well, that's fine. But I mean, we saw what can happen. School Sport Live gave an opportunity to millions of people around the world to watch that game. I mean, I had feedback from people that I haven't seen in a long time, just because they got to see me on TV, So there's always something that we can do, and sometimes I just think it takes a little bit of, it's a must-do attitude. It's so easy to say no and just to close up, but there's always a solution to a potential problem that we need to give these kids an opportunity to do what they enjoy doing.
Absolutely. Jared, SAC tournament runs at a similar time to the Clifton tournament. What are the chances of us seeing Rondebosch up in Durban in the third term, end of the third term?
Yeah, look, I mean, Andrew, I think either which way, let's just let the boys, play some water polo. So, I mean, I don't think they're really too fussed away in how they're playing. It's just as long as they're playing. And I mean, in saying that, also super chuffed that Currie Cup's going ahead. Unfortunately, we missed that last year from a men's perspective, but super chuffed that's going ahead in Durban this year, and especially in an Olympic year with trials and stuff like that. It's, as Grant says, it's just, we have to forge forward. We can't just default to say no to these things. We can make it happen as Grant showed. No spectators, something like that. But Yeah, I mean, I feel for the boys. You know, some of them is matric years. A lot of guys missed out on their matric years and these big tournaments that they hope to win in their final year of school. So yeah, I'm really hoping Saints goes ahead, SACs, Clifton, and we can just get some school fixtures as well. So yeah, we can cross our fingers.
Awesome. Yeah, well, I look forward to seeing you guys there, and hopefully we can Hilton can play St Andrews and Rondebosch. But I think that's all from our side. So thanks very much, guys. Thanks for breaking down the weekend, and congratulations to both of you guys for making the final.
Thanks for having us.
Yes.